Surprise! No more lurking. Can I lurk too? I'll just sit here quietly. Just like right here. Like hold it down. We're just gonna stay here, everybody, and stare at one another. Like that would be a really good way to go about it, I think. Just the awkwardest. Welcome to the awkwardest hour YouTube has ever seen in the history of YouTube Live. Just sitting there quietly, not paying any attention, never not paying no mind to anybody. What's going on? I think that's a good way to go about it. Whew, I can't talk like that for too long. It starts making my head feel all light. Anyway. Happy Thursday, everybody. Or as I know it, happy last season of Bad Batch, first season of the live action Avatar. It's a very tense time if you're a nerd, especially a Star Wars nerd. You're very welcome, Mischievous Jackal. I'm sure. Thank you for enjoying it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Well, love the Titan shield. Listen, I earned this shield. Okay, that shield stays permanently. All right. Sometimes you just need to shield bash people. It's the nature of the things. I was given this lovely robe today. It's very, you know what's great? It's long enough. I can't really show you. It's long, it's knee length. So I technically don't need to wear anything underneath it. I love it, but it didn't come with a belt. So I've got to be like walking around the house like one of them old ladies with it like, didn't start up for you. What the hell? That's weird. It's very strange. I'm sorry about that, Sage. It's weird that it didn't do that. It should be running. I mean, we're on 2 minutes. I'm pointing at it at a number you can't see. We're on 2 minutes at the current. So we're doing the best that we can. Hi, Bernil. Good afternoon. I hope everybody is doing same, Sage. Really? It's all your fault. I'm a horrible person. How dare. That's fine. I'll go now. And moonwalk back into frame. Yeah, it's YouTube. What can you do? Sometimes it's weird. I don't, it doesn't matter what digital platform you find yourself on. There are times where it gets like really like just strange. You know what I mean? Like you can't, it just freezes and you don't know why. I'm going to blame the cows. Yeah, no, the cows could do it. I am performing. I am a dancing bear man. But also apparently, what was it? Listen, I'm not saying this is gonna go to my head, but there is a event coming up that has titled me a featured educator, and that might be going on the CV. I'm just putting that out there for permanent use. But educator does fall into my plans for 2025, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Listen, we need to get through. We need to survive 2024, Nick, before you start playing 2025. And what was the other thing? I also I shouldn't say that because I've already started playing 2026 too. So Jesus God, I gotta start eating more bran. Got to start eating more bran and lifting more weights and doing more cardio and making sure that I'm taking care of myself. Because I'll tell you what, I got to be kicking around for at least that long in order to get all these plans accomplished. I know it's only February and I'm planning for 2026. We barely made it out of the holidays live, and Nick's over here going, well, in 2027, here's my 6-month plan. Like, oh my God. I threw, good morning, Camille. I took everything. Like, I was like, I'm going to be able to do another year of being an artist who just makes the ends meet, utilizing the income that I have. And then I was like, no, I'm taking the kids to Disney. And then I was like, oh, well, the budget is gone. And then the states around me were like, those properties in those areas that you own, yeah, we're gonna tax those. We're increasing those taxes, so we're gonna get it all included. It's just, wait, it's not still 2020. Oh, Anna, it feels like it some days. But anyway, 2023 was hard. I'm still feeling cautious about 2020. As well you should, Nikki. But the good news about it is this. We got a solid team of complete wackadoodles who can make anything in a kitchen explosive. So, your found family might be a little felonious, but felonious? Your found family might be 2020 part 4. Yeah. Every year since 2000 has been 2000 plus and the years. Felonious. Thank you. I knew it was felonious. I thought it was felonious. I thought felonious was a little too easy. So yeah, the good news is that your found family is a little bit felonious and has a tendency to be a little bit, I don't want to say we're loony, but one could definitely question the sanity of this group at any given moment. What do I like to explode? Oh my God. Okay. Here's a little bit of an inside story. There is a cookbook that was published in the 70s. And in that cookbook, it had certain hints towards things that could be done in case one ever needed to rebel against an imperialist state. And I, being the individual that I am, may have copied it into the back of my actual cookbook. So there are certain recipes in the back of that book, that could come in handy if there's ever an apocalyptic hellscape situation. I keep them on hand just in case. You know what I'm saying? Drink some more. Listen, I'm out here playing with my jug. Unfortunately, I don't have 2 of them because then I'd play with my jugs for you guys and you guys would have fun watching that. They're very tasty, and I'm making sure that my thirst is quenched. Doesn't help that, wait a minute, they're tiny, they're toony, we're all a little loony, and in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. I know. Oh, the steel jug is in the car because gym jug, house jug. That sounds so weird. Combined, I have some marvelous, very voluminous jugs, and I make sure to put my mouth on them as often as possible in order to make sure that I'm refreshed. Okay? And listen, we're getting back to that coffee mug on TikTok this morning. Oh, close to frozen. Not quite well, I was in the car up until about 20 some odd minutes ago because I was running around. I'm making shepherd's pie for dinner, and I had to go do some stuff for the animals, and I went down to the P.O. box. So it's been a very busy morning so far. Because this entire week and the way that it was structured, just bleh. Because with the kids with their time off and trying to get stuff done and running all over the place, it's just been a wackadoodle. But anyway, so let's get down to business where we spank the Huns. It should be the buns. By the way, if y'all don't think I am casually in the back of my notebook charting out the 9 Star Wars saga movies and what musical numbers from Broadway I can insert into them, you're out of your damn mind, because that is now a side project I never knew that I needed, but here we are. Anyway. No, darling, I save the shepherds for other things. Anyway. I have a whole treatise by next week. Stormy, I can't wait until we share notes on that. I love that song, but also, look, sent me daughters when I asked for sons is a terrible line. That is true. That is true. Great music. Listen, and we live with this. We're of that generation where it's like, oh my God, awesome musical. No, man, that is a horrible line. That's just a horrible line. Why? But why? But why? You know, like, not a musical movie. True. Daughters can be warriors. We're very aware of this, Nikki. Very aware of the capability of listen. The what is it? Like, we have great examples. The problem is that they get eschewed. They get brought down and made tiny. You know what I mean? Like, I will stand by the fact that the movie The Marvels was one of the best Doctor Who episodes I've ever seen in my life. Because it was just like, it was a Marvel movie that took after anime and Doctor Who. That's what it was. And people in the United States do not, a lot of fans can't wrap their heads around the way that that's structured. This is true. Exactly, Stormy. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, it was a fun and jovial film. And where else were there going to be musical numbers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It was just, yeah, a lot of people got butthurt over there, crap, and it bothers me to this very day. All right. But now on to business, where I spank the buns. Anyway, memory was genius. Don't you be sitting... Did you really just bring cats into a Thirsty Thursday? Did you really just do that? Oh my God. I can't with you. Can't. Oh, memory. Yes. I got you. Memory in the Marvels. Yes. When they used memory in the Marvels movie, that was fantastic. Yes, you did hear a spank. Moving on. So, welcome to another wonderful edition of Thirsty Thursday with a DadBod Thor. It's TTT, TTTs, TTCT, Thirsty Thursday with a comely Thor. I guess we could do that. Comely. Anyway, Thirsty Thursday with a come hungry Thor. Moving on. And it's like, Tara need a spank. We can arrange that. There you go. Thirsty Thursday with a cuddly Thor. There it is. Hannah, why didn't I put that together? Good God. I'm Nick the Forge Bear. This is Thirsty Thursday, where we shoot the breeze. We have comments over there on the YouTube live bar that sometimes I respond to. We have questions that have been asked in the Thirsty Thursday Coffee Talk Discord that is exclusive to the Patreon members. And we say hello to our newest friends. I think we only have one new friend this week because I am not interesting. Guys, self-deprecating humor. I know. I'm getting better at it. Not really, but I try. But anyway. Yeah, we have one new friend, right? Oh, two, three? No, we have two new friends, Melissa and Tanita. Melissa and Tanita, hello, darlings. Welcome to the whole thing. We're going to have a lot of fun with the rest of the week, but this is where it kind of starts getting a little bit more sassy. I will be sending you your welcome message, and that will have the Discord link so that if you'd like to ask questions in the future, you are more than welcome to. All right. Who doesn't need a spank? I mean, every so often, a good, oh man, just, oh man, that is very, there we go. That kind of gets it going. You just got to have that momentum and that flat clap to it. The rounded, that's this counterintuitive, really. But anyway, answering the questions that have been asked of me. Oh, why? Is the spanking sound distracting you? Or do you have me on speakers? Oh, you're working. Okay, fine. I will be good. Not even a little bit, but I will stop the sound. Moving on. Maybe. Possibly. We'll see. Seiji Weiji Sassapants kicks us off with, and now it's time to add some chili powder to your coffee and make sure your headphones are charged. Let's hear it for the surgeon of sly sexiness, the minister of multiple moans, the dawn of dangerous liaisons, Nick the Forge Bar. Man, I'm adding all of those titles to my CV. Dear chat, please applaud as though instructed by flashing neon signs. Oh, it's that time of the week when we listen to mellifluous musings on questions provided by the beautiful beasties of the Boundless Library. These questions are always respectful, 3C compliant, and adhere to guidelines and tier items. Contestant Sassavon Assis kicks us off with number 1. How do you personally deal with friends or play friends that get jealous or territorial over you? Listen, being jealous or territorial is oftentimes a sign that you are attached to somebody. And that being attached to someone is a positive emotion. Being jealous or territorial is a side effect of having that attachment. Okay? You have to become a Jedi. No attachments. All banging. No attachments. Anyway, giant Jedi orgies, no attachments. Fiddling. Why do you think so many of the light side lightsabers were smooth and had rubbery grips? I'm just putting that out there. Have you guys seen that Master Allen's content is completely embracing the whole playtime aspect? He's got the 6, the 10, the 12-inch blades, and he's been talking about how some of the handles are ribbed. Now, of course, they're not. They don't vibrate. But you know what? You're asking a lot, given that they are extremely durable toys and easy to clean. I did actually order the whip. I got paid, so I ordered the whip. I bet you. Well, Anna, you know what? If you want to suggest a vibrating one, feel free to drop a link in the comments of this post on the Patreon, because I'm sure you won't be the only one who wants to know where you can find a vibrating lightsaber. So yeah. So everybody, if you've got embracing the whole. Maybe vibrations will be in the next. See, a rumble pack though. You'd have to build the rumble pack separate, because remember, with them, oh man, I'm getting geeky here. Here we go. So the kit that's built in to a lightsaber in order to make the crashing sounds and everything else, it is hinged on a tumbler built inside the microcircuitry. If you were to build a motor in there as well, it would constantly be setting off the collision. So yeah, so it's a little bit. They have a D20 gag to. Oh, Anna, drop this. Seriously, DM me the web address. Add it to the comments here so that I can actually capture it and post it some way. You got to give us this info. Anna. I need it. I needs it, because you know what? I'm gonna save that. If there's a D20 gag, then I'm going to save that for the future, because if ever I'm playing a tabletop with the right people and somebody rolls a D1, I'll make them wear it. Moving on. So yeah. So contestant, to answer your question. So when it comes to dealing with play friends that are getting jealous or territorial, oftentimes I will talk to them about how that's a different way of expressing the exact same emotion. Right? You are emotionally attached to me. You're getting, you feel as though we're getting closer, and we need to be close, but it also becomes that feeling of, oh my God, I need them all to myself. Getting past that, is a process, and it's a process that might end things, unfortunately, because you can at times find yourself in a position where it's like, oh my God, like these feelings, they're overwhelming. I only want you to myself. There's no other way around this. It's got to be you and me. There has to be monogamy, or else it's done. And unfortunately, receiving that, being on the receiving end of that, really falls into your space to explore your feelings on the matter. But if you are the one projecting that onto another individual, you have to also recognize that you are not in control of that individual, right? You are not in control of, exactly. Ultimatums rarely work. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Anyway, man, we are perfectly blending it all together today. Yeah, there is. Is there a static? Hold on. Is it this drape again? Because I keep brushing against the drape, and sometimes that's problematic. Hold on. I just need to. There we go. Okay. Now I can see all my delightful pop babies right over there. There's a real difficulty in dealing with possessiveness, jealousy, and, well, I'm only partially listening. So there is a real territorial issue when it comes to some ways people process, and it does become a difficulty. It does become the kind of thing that um that makes things difficult for others, right? We always need to realize, though, that these are systems that have been put in place by people that want it to be this singular cellular connection. Two people, right? One man and one woman, and they get together and they make the babies, and then they have completed their usefulness, and now they die, right? We don't necessarily need to adhere to that system, right? The divorce rates speak for themselves. The fact that more people have become embracing of poly lifestyles, making sure that they are non-monogamous, expressing themselves in a non-monogamous fashion. All of these things, they are healthy forms of interaction. They are healthy forms of intimacy. And we can have them. We can make them work. We can understand that life is not as simple as it is just being like, oh, two people, that's it, done. We talk about, a lot of people talk about dating drama and all of this stuff, and a lot of it stems from the idea of working towards systematic monogamy. And sometimes that doesn't work, and sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's smooth as butter. And sometimes it doesn't, right? What you need to do, though, is you need to determine that for yourself. The other play friend needs to determine that as well. And then if they at some point become monogamously minded, they need to learn to, one, communicate that effectively, but two, deal with the consequences of that becoming their focus. Because I say consequences because it's not a matter of looking at the situation and saying, oh my God, you need to change because I feel like we need to be monogamous. You know, it is honest. Absolutely. Polyamory and ethical non-monogamy are honest. They are practices that have worked perfectly historically. And it's not the kind of thing that needs to be that, but again, multiple forms, different flavors for different folks,
right? But we need to be able to communicate that effectively. And then we need to learn that based on, is this you expressing yourself in the hopes that someone else will change for you? Or is this you expressing yourself in a way because while you have grown emotionally and mentally attached to somebody, perhaps even spiritually and sexually attached to that person, that might not be, that might be an attachment that does not merit, does not does not deserve a singular connection. You know, it's a difficulty. Have I faced it myself? Yes. Yes, I have. Is it the kind of thing it's the kind of thing that has ended companionships that I have had, friendships, relationships, situationships. It has ended them because it's a matter of me saying, as all of you know, first and foremost, my devotion is to my kids, right? My devotion is a focus on them and making sure that they get the most of me, that they get the devotion that they deserve, that they get the nourishment and the parenting that they have every right to, right? That they don't even know that they have the right to it, that I need to provide it without them asking for it, right? So that is my focus. Everything else takes a back seat to that. And no one having people, having a person in a situationship who expressed that they wanted to become the priority, having them say, you know, I just want to be able to spend weekends with you without you focused on other people. And then moving it up into, I want you to focus on me, not the kids. And you're like, okay, I understand the attachment. I understand the way that these feelings stem. Yeah, that is correct, Sage. Thank you for making that known. There are many different forms of poly. That is correct. And we need to be understanding and we need to be embracing. And guess what? This is a good jumping off point for education. Make sure, Sage, make sure that we're providing. I wonder, you know what? I'll go on a little bit of a search and I'll put some information out there. Partner is a very different position than play friend. This is also true, Stormy. Correct. It is completely different. It is completely different. Partner and play friend do take different positions. And wanting to transition from play friend into partner is extremely possible, but you have to realize that that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the only one. So it becomes very difficult territory. And it will at times end connections that you have with people. Might be a good confessions topic. Excellent suggestion, Nikki. Excellent suggestion. Somebody please do me a favor and remind me of that. We'll bring it up as a confessions because it is the kind of thing. And I can't single-handedly delve into full on, you know, the full extent of poly situations. But we can definitely this is a whole coffee talk in and of itself. That is very true, Jamie. This could take up all the time in and of itself. Um but yeah, if we're gonna state it simply so that we can move on, I would say that if you are dealing with a play friend or you are dealing with a partner who feels as though you merit all of their attention and that is not something that you are comfortable with, then you need to express that and you need to leave it in their territory. You can still have the emotional, the connective conversations, but it needs to be something that needs to be dealt with, because if you just allow it to sit there and fester, it's only going to make things worse and far more toxic. Nikki says, thank you for the question, by the way, contestant, but you labeled that one, so that means there's other ones. Nikki says, hello, Nick. I hope this week has been going well. That being said, 2 new questions this week. I don't know, Nikki. Listen, it has been a weird one just because, the kids didn't get back to school until Wednesday, so it's been strange. When you are in the booth recording spicy audio, do you have those days where things just aren't coming out the way you would like them to? No pun intended. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. When it comes down to it, um, that might be a good idea though, Sage. We might want to set up a real discussion about it. I mean, because I technically do not, I am not in a polycule. So I'm not the best person to talk about it. I have play friends in the area. I have situationships and friendships and play ships and all that, but no. No, 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 no. So yeah. So anyway, Nikki says, do I ever have days where things just coming out the way? Yeah. Oh God, yeah, Nikki. There are days where I walk away from the booth. I just can't. There's never going to be a time in your life, no matter whether or not you're doing the absolute right thing that was blessed into your being. If the talents that were poured into the very foundations of your soul are creating a certain thing, there are going to be days where you suck at it. There are. Just like if you have to, in order to pay the bills, make burgers 14 hours a day, there are going to be days where you suck at that too. So yeah, there are absolutely times. Okay. I mean, listen, Sage. I was trying not to get too technical about it right now because E&M is a whole different conversation. This is like, I was like, we can go on for days. I was trying to simplify. So yes, we definitely have to have a conversation about it. Moving on. Yeah, so there are always going to be days where you're not feeling it. There are always going to be days where it's frustrating. There are days where the town decides to cut down every goddamn tree that they have legal right to out front so that it doesn't knock over the power lines. And I'm like, I can hear it in the background the entire time, and I'm sure my audio is going to pick it up. So I'm just like, screw this! I'm going to go blow things up in video games and then bake a cake. Like, it's going to happen. And when it does, you got to walk away. You got to have, if I'm not working on a project I absolutely am passionate about, if I'm having an off day, I will just fuck around on the computer. You know what I mean? Like, I will type something stupid. I apparently will make a list of the musical numbers that complement the Star Wars saga. You know what I mean? Like, there are days where it just builds itself in, and you have to. That's when you harvest lumberjack full. Listen, Sonia. Listen, all right? I get it, all right? You just love the idea of me not being able to be artistic, so I just go out in the woods, cut down wood, and then play with my wood. And I understand, okay? It is very appealing. I myself find it kind of hot. But we're going to leave that alone for right now. No, that is true, though. I have at times picked up Foley. Well, that's another thing, though. I will also just those are also times where I do like rambles, where I'm just like, okay, I'll just do this. I'll just knock one of these out. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of I'm trying to always be constructive. I'm also always trying to be creative with my time. It's just sometimes that takes different avenues, especially if like I'm just not making fucking sense with this. When this mic is in my face and there are days where I'm just looking at it like, fuck you. On those days, I'll walk away and do something else, But yeah, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Moving on. Number 2, having watched all of Has Been Hotel at this point, I'm wondering who is your favorite character you best relate to? As much as I hate to say it, I'm probably most like Charlie, but Nifty cracks me up. I mean, Nifty cracks everybody up, especially Lucifer just going, "You got a thing," and then Nifty just goes to town. But yeah, oh my god, she's a little chaos gremlin, and I love it. Nifty is a little chaos See, here's the thing though. Like, I understand all of them to a certain degree. I know that's kind of a catch-all question answer, because here's my thing, okay? So you have Nifty, who's the little psycho, and then you have Charlie, who's like your big old ball of hope. And I'm like, I get that. On an emotional level, I understand that. You know, Charlie's just like, I can do this, which is literally the lead-in for the whole show. I get Vaggie. I do, because I've been disenfranchised by the religious organization and the hierarchy at large. Alistair, I understand Alistair because there's that whole temptation thing, even amidst those who find themselves. Oh, poll in the Discord. Oh shit, this is going down. Alistair, I understand because of the idea of the medium of audio kind of being seductive in and of itself, and the fact that, unlike video, sometimes it has a tendency to play with your imagination far more than video can. Angel Dust, I mean, given what I do, Angel Dust makes sense. Serpentis, Serpentis Serpentis, I don't really get. Like, Serpentis I kind of get, but it's just not one that, like, hooks to my brain. And then Husk, I just feel on an emotional level, because I'm like, yep, been there, done that. Like, that song, the one that I synced to, just, yes. Like, Husk makes so much sense to me. So yeah, I would say that a little bit of everything, except for Serpentis. Um, yeah, yeah, good run. But apparently, we're going to have to do a poll on the Discord or a poll on the Patreon. What do you think? Should we do it on the Discord or the Patreon? Anyway, I'll leave it up to everybody else. Thanks so much for your questions, Nikki. That was wonderful. Random says, what is an example of a thing/situation/issue that will end a D/S relationship with your sub? Okay, so random. A DS situation, right, is built upon certain rules, right? Conversations take place, rules are put in place. There are safe words, there are safe signals, there are safe signs. There is the understanding of the do's and the don'ts, the yucks and the yums. There is a lot of information and exchange that takes place beforehand, right? So, a thing/situation/issue that'll end that more often than not, right, is going to be when too many times the rules are stepped over. Too many times there are violations that take place. Too many times there are measures that are made that were never really discussed on, nor are they talked about in the midst of the scene, right? Now, I understand people acting upon their instincts and going with their emotions when it comes to the things that they are facing, the things that they are feeling. I understand having a crash in the middle of a scene. I've had a couple of those happen, right? I've had a couple of those where all of a sudden the emotional resonance, the trauma built into the trauma built into parts of the brain that don't really get accessed up until you're in that very vulnerable spot, causes you to shut down. I understand that. Communicate that to me. I can shift gears. You guys know this. I'm a lump of stuffing, and I'm also able to bring the pain. One or the other is possible. We have the existing on a spectrum of pleasure dominance possibilities is something that I have absolutely no problem with. Do I have more of a predilection for certain portions? Yes, but that being said, like, if you have a situation where a submissive decides that they're going to lash out, if you have a situation where a submissive does not do a check-in, does not heed the usage of a safe word, a safe signal, a safe sign, if the submissive is asking for things that were not previously discussed, No, not at all, Andy. Not at all. But there are times where it does come up. There are times where trauma does come up at times. I'm not discussing that as a whole. I'm simply saying that I'm trying to offer up here's an entire spectrum of things, Andy, right? Here is the entirety of these experiences. Here's where in the midst of something, frenzy or complete fallout happened, right? And you can have both. I have had people who have very quickly and succinctly on a dime turned around and been like, I want to do this now. And I'm like, absolutely. Right? Because it is something that we've discussed. It is an option. It is where you want things to go, right? I have people who have been like, "Okay, here's what I need you to do. Pull my hair, smack my ass." Like, listen, I had somebody who gave completely into the impulse of clitoral spanking during penetration, and it was just like, "Just keep going until I ask you to stop. Are you okay with that?" "Yes, I'm okay with that." "Is that something?" "Let's talk about speed. Let's talk about intensity. Let's talk about this." And so being able to explore all of those is fine, but what stops a DS relationship, which is the question. What will stop a DS relationship with your sub faster than anything else? Whether you be a dom or a sub, it is exactly the same. Violation of the rules, not heeding or respecting the safe word, the safe signal, the safe signs, right? Not continually doing check-ins or touching base with the other partner or partners in the situation. Exactly, not all, but some of it is. At times. At times. There are people listen, it's gonna be a matter of embracing those portions of yourself, understanding those portions of yourself, fulfilling those portions of yourself that you want to have fulfilled, that are satisfying a need, right? Exactly. Whether that mean the high needs, the low needs, the needs, it's entirely up to you, right? Also, why I always talk about before, during, and after care is because you want to be taking care of those in your care throughout the entirety of the situation, right? Through the entirety of the scene. It can take very different forms. It can go on very different paths, so long as the rules are not being violated, the safe words, signs, and signals are being honored, communication is in effect, then you're fine. Violations of those, however, going outside the boundaries, acting aggressively or in a dangerous fashion because those are things that are definitely not okay. So, yeah. Oh, Andy, we do not use that word around here. Absolutely not. We do not use the word dumb. We are all learning. We are all understanding. We are all embracing of those who are looking for knowledge. Absolutely. All right. So, Heather, the zombie mom, says, have you ever met a play partner who has a problem with orgasms? Exactly. Questions are free. Clarification is a good thing. Trying to understand the whole, trying to understand everyone, trying to embrace. That's what this community is all about. Being comfortable asking these questions, being comfortable saying the thing that you don't know how exactly what kind of footing you'll find yourself on. It's okay. Because here's the thing, we are here to hear those phrases. Trust me when I say we have had people ask things, right? Out of a misunderstanding. And we are more than happy to provide you the information because we are here as a community, we are here as a collective in order to try to what? What is the mission statement I always talk about, right? Making sure that we all move forward, that we all elevate, that we all evolve together, right? There's some things that we don't know. There's some things that I don't know that I allow myself to be corrected on. And at no point does that make anybody dumb or stupid. That doesn't make anybody ignorant. That's just a matter of That's just a matter of looking at the situation and saying, "You know what? This is something I don't know. This is something I don't fully understand." And again, you're gonna get an answer like was provided. You're gonna get an answer that's just like, "You know what? Not all of the information here. Not 100% of this is ever a thing," right? So, yeah. So it works out. But anyway, Heather the zombie mom says, "Have you ever met a play partner who has a problem with orgasms? Not that they do not want them, but have problems getting there." Absolutely. And you got to remember there is a percentage of the population that cannot have them, right? There is a portion of the population that cannot have them. They're physically incapable of having them. Now and so what do you have to do? In those situations, right? You're going to have you're going to have to either A, explore the options, B, take your time, C, communicate about what works and what doesn't, and D, if all else fails, understand what the goal of the scene is, right? Because again, right? Some scenes aren't necessarily the goal of the scene isn't necessarily to have an orgasm. Sometimes the scene is to have an experience, to have to embrace feelings, to embrace the needs of others, right? I've If we're being perfectly honest, there have been scenes where I have orchestrated the orgasms of play friends and not had one myself, or had one very far off into the very end of the situation. And so, yeah, it's a matter of just working our way through it, you know? It's a matter of really knowing the person, right? This goes back to, "Hey guys, guess what? I'm going to bring up the 3 C's." Crazy, I realize. This is a matter of taking the care and communicating with the play partner or partners who have problems with it or are unable to achieve it or achieve it through X, Y, and Z specifically, right? I've had play partners who have come at the drop of a hat. I have had play partners who come and there's just it's a minor thing. I've had play partners who you need solid effort, you need solid connectivity, you need solid contact, you need to be doing these two fingers need to be positioned at 3 o'clock with constant pressure while applying this toy to this area and also saying these words specifically. I mean, and it happens, you know. Everybody is different. The beauty of everyone is that they're different. The thing that gets us stuck in the tall weeds is the fact that we are sometimes embarrassed, sometimes ashamed, sometimes uncomfortable because we just naturally assume that people should be able to like come wildly every single time that they get touched. It's an after effect of the corn industry. What can you do? Right? Like, and it just happens, you know? And you don't want it to happen and you don't respect it for happening. And again, like every other art form, like every other performance art, there are things that you can learn from it. There are takeaways, there are certain beauties that can be found within it. But the idea that every single play partner is just gonna like, "I'm gonna hit him like one time with that perfect hook shot, and that's all it's gonna take." Like, listen, penetrative sex works for some people, right? Manual stimulation works for some people. Clitoral stimulation works for some people, you know? We've talked about the A spot, the G spot, the C spot. The P spot. These exist. We have spots that can be hit, but they don't work for everybody, right? They don't. They don't. It's a matter of what works for you know, I had a play friend with whom nipple stimulation got them 95% of the way, and I am not joking. If you focused completely on vaginal, clitoral, anal play with this partner, it was like it would keep the motor humming, but it didn't ever rev the engine. When it came to nipple play, you could just do that to the point where they were like, "Okay, you know what? I need you to focus, please. I need you to do me a favor. Just very lightly tap my clit one time," and that's all it took. You know what I mean? And everybody's different. And there's a is there a formula to it? Is it like I'm not trying to trivialize anybody, but is there a formula to it? Is there like are there tricks? All right? Like is it a matter of understanding the pattern and doing the dance? Yes, absolutely. Because we are all unique beings. And sure, you know, penis owners oftentimes it's not that hard to figure things out. There are a few cheat codes, but yeah, but everyone should be approached with the same level of respect, kindness, and admiration because their experience is going to be different. Their the stimuli that is going to nourish their sexual needs is going to be different. It's a different process. Everyone is their own Rubik's cube. Exactly. That's another good point, Sage, is guess what? The other thing about that Rubik's Cube is like sometimes what worked for the Rubik's Cube 5 years ago don't work for the Rubik's Cube no more. You know what I mean? Like just the way that it is. So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question though, Zombie Mom. The idea of like a bop it toy. Yeah, there you go. Bop it, twist it, flick it, nipple clamp it. Moving on. Stormy. Stormy asks, um, hey, the activities committee for Valhalla Estates would like to plan some field trips for our community. Where should we go? Listen, there is the 50 states 50 there is the 50 states 50 drag initiative that is built into Valhalla Estates. That's one. Two, there is the all nude slip and slide convention that comes up in comes up in the summer in Pensacola. We can't miss that. That's three. Wait, no, that's two. At three, we got to make sure that we're going to the sex toy museum. Is that in Germany? I want to say it's in Germany. I think there's also one in Japan. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, sex toy museum. The International House of Flying Phalluses. We definitely have to go there at least once. Um, every mom and pop, homegrown, 100% organic sex toy shop in the United States will be visited. Museum of Sex is in New York City. That is true. So we've got a lot of good options. There's going to be naked hang gliding. There's going to be naked. There's going to be naked halo jumps. There's going to be naked. Yeah, because nothing says I don't need to worry about that plug slipping out. Quite like clenching while falling 3,000 feet before pulling your parachute. You know what I'm saying? Holland. Thank you, Hannah. So yeah, there's a lot of very good options. Um, let's see here. Every messy street taco vendor on the face of the planet, we definitely have to. So now we all have to be nudists. Absolutely not, Stormy. Just saying. Just saying. Listen, do you need to go on every field trip? No. You can pick and choose the field trips you want to go to. That is perfectly fine. You know, I'm not going to ask everybody to get into the bus and go with us all to the sex doll creation center where we can all have molds of ourselves made so that we all have sex dolls of ourselves. No, you might want to do that, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. You know what I mean? It's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. And yes, okay, we do have the option of going to every burning burlesque show that exists on the face of the planet. But you don't have to. What if one day you want to be part of the knitting cum circle, right? Yeah, maybe you've decided that you want to get an extra knitting Sibian session in. So you got 8 or 10 friends who want to stay behind while the rest of the group gets on the bus. And you know what? That's okay. We need to understand that some of the field trips are going to work for people and some of the field trips aren't. You know, some people are homebodies, and I love and appreciate those homebodies. Okay? So stay home, play, and make a couple of videos with friends while they watch inside the living room that you're playing the whole thing out in. That's fine. You can do that, you know. Somebody's going to have to tend the goats, the chickens, the llamas, the tyrannosauruses, the triceratopses, tricerat. Yeah, somebody's going to have to tend to, to the fields where we nourish and raise our fucks, right? Everybody's, we're going to take turns raising the organic phallic shaped vegetation so that we can nourish ourselves while also making dick jokes. These are important steps. And sometimes that means that you don't go on one of the field trips. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you go to all of them, right? And sometimes you ignore them. I'm not going to tell people where to go, right? Put them back. If nothing else, you're coming over to my place. See, it's just, if we're going to form this lovely little commune in the middle of nowhere, we're going to have to make sure that we understand that there are going to be, and you're assuming once, once the EMP goes off over the United States, we're going to have anything else to do. We might all just be trapped in our own little subdivide where we have to, fend for ourselves and provide the nourishment to the group and entertain for one another. Listen, shadow puppet Saturdays are good, especially when there is no electricity left. You know what I'm saying? Post-apocalyptic hellscape, sure. Giant casual orgies. That's what I'm saying, like, yeah. Oh my goodness. So yes, so we have several stops that we can make. Stormy. Heather K says, curious for another behind the artist segment. It seems like some types of audios can only be done in single take. Is that intentional? How do you cut or splice your audios to make them work if you flub a line? So behind the artist segment, here goes. If I'm doing a single take audio, right, and I do flub a line, and oftentimes I will, like ramble faps are single take, right? Ramble faps are single take. Sometimes audios that sound single take are not single take. Sometimes audios that were never intended to be single take will be single take because I got into the groove and it worked. The other thing you have to worry about is, based on some of the audios that I make, Heather K, sometimes there's a a coordination issue, rhythmic coordination issue. So you have to be very careful about. Of course we need cuddle puddles. Of course you'd need cuddle puddles, because sometimes you just like, yes, and there are going to be members of the community that are going to be ace, and we're going to be embracing of that, right? We're going to be looking at that and going, okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. So cuddle puddles, yes, right? Some super comfy jammy cuddle puddles, some clothes optional cuddle puddles. We're gonna schedule these things, guys. We're not gonna make you do things. It's not all, here's your agenda, stick to it. Yeah. Between this whorehouse and Valhalla Estates, I bet your dream Pinterest boards are wild. We don't talk about my Pinterest boards. Moving on. No, you got to take this whorehouse, Valhalla, and then combine my nerd stuff into my Pinterest. Yeah, it gets really interesting quickly. 3Cs do not disappear without electricity. This is true. If we had agendas, it would be so we could make paper airplanes. Truth. So yeah. So sometimes the audios go according to plan. Sometimes they go off the rails, and you have to just take it. There have been single take audios that I've had to re-record the entire thing. I am not lying to you, where it's been like, listen, if we're being real and we're talking about like ramble audios or like single take audios and the coordinating of audio, background, Foley, right? There have been times where things have happened sooner than they were intended to. You know what I mean? It is a biological process, and sometimes it does not adhere to the schedule. And sometimes it does not happen when it's supposed to happen. It goes on much longer than it was scheduled. So it's just a matter. Yes, that's called downshifting. I understand, but sometimes the audio does not. Sometimes the audio does not imply that downshifting is supposed to take place. So you just kind of absolutely nothing wrong with one. Absolutely nothing wrong with a quickie. But again, you had a 30-minute audio planned and you're on minute 55 and you're like, what's going on? You know, like, so yeah, it there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of looking at the situation, looking at the audio and saying, okay, this really played out the way that I wanted it to, the way that it was supposed to. There's some audios that just one and done, and you're kind of like, oh my God, that was perfect. And there's some audios where you're like, oh, every 2 minutes I have to cut again. And then you're like, okay, you know what? I'm throwing the whole thing out. I'm going to do it all over again. Sometimes it's okay. Let's record the primary audio and then we'll drop in the Foley after the fact, which is really, really, really difficult. I think I've done that 2, maybe 3 times. And it's all been Quinn audios where it's just like, okay, the pickup wasn't working. The second mic situation wasn't on point. Like for some reason it wasn't recording or there was a background noise that was driving it up the wall. So does not work. So yeah. So, yeah, like 3 audios, three, maybe 4. Insert "will record it live" storms off meme. Correct, Anna. But yeah, there have been some where there are some where it sounds like it's separate recordings, and it's just because it was mic'd differently than normal. Like sometimes I will drop this single pickup mic for audio, and then I will use the binaural mic for Foley pickup. So it's completely different. You're going to have to review the playback on that one. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, so there are times where it definitely there are times where it works better than others. There are times where it's a single record and works. There's sometimes where it gets chopped because it has to be chopped. It's all a work in progress. You know what I mean? It's tough. It is tough. It is absolutely difficult, especially when you're trying so very hard to maintain a level of respect. And when you're maintaining a level of respect and um awareness of the listener, you know what I mean? Because I don't care exactly how dirty the audio is. I want to make sure that you feel like you're being nourished through the process, that you're being seen, that you're being appreciated, that you're being made to feel body positive, right? So balancing that while still using the dirtiest language I can and expressing the most the most um the most aggressive actions that I can express. It's a little bit of a difficult balancing act. But yeah. Um so a little bit of everything, Heather. A little bit of everything. And a lot of times very, very confusing. At times a little bit off-putting. Jamie says, for older generations, the question was Ginger or Marianne. I mean, why not? Listen, first of all, maybe the question should be, Who does Ginger and Marianne want? Huh? Maybe they both want one person. Maybe they want each other. Who is to say? How about we ask them? You know what I mean? Well, thank you, Shell. So, yeah, it's a matter of playing with it, Jamie. But anyway, just for the sake of argument. Oh no. So, in the vein of the Ginger or Marianne, just for the sake of argument, Inara, Rivers, Zoe, Kaylee, or even Saffron, or Mal, Jane, Wash, etc. Far from me to put you in a box. Wow. So Kaylee and River, no. All right, because Kaylee and River seem like kids to me. Like, it just, let's face it, they both wanted the professor. Point taken, point taken. You may choose as many as you'd like, LMAO. So why not all of them? We'll just work our way through the entire crew. Listen, okay? Listen. The idea, okay. This goes back. This is an argument that was made for Farscape. This is an argument that will be made for Firefly and any other show where the crew is less than like 50. Anytime the camera's off, they all be fucking. Like, just assume it's the same thing with the Jedi Temple, orgies aplenty. Just like there's different arrangements, different alignments. It's all going down. It is all going down, Jamie, all the time. At some point, Jane has called Mal Captain while moaning. Oh my God. I mean, of course, all of this takes place after the movie was over. Because, at some point Zoe was going to need that morning sex going on. Morning, MOURNING. But yeah, but like, yeah, there's different configurations. Ouch, too soon. Sorry, too soon. How many years? Didn't that movie come out in 2012? Like, come on, guys. But yeah, if I had, just for the sake of argument, Inara and Zoe have always appealed to me more because the two of them are stronger, more mature individuals. And can I tell you, I have a thing for strong, mature women. It's just the way that it is. But yeah, River, Kaylee, Saffron. I'd feel like Saffron was going to murder me constantly, and that might be hot. That might be a two doms kind of situation. Just saying. Mal, definitely. Wash would be fun, I feel like. Jane just seems too stuck. Like, yeah, Jane's every single football player who is like, I'm not into it, and then would have like 4 or 5 drinks and be like, show me that dick. Like, what that dick do? Like, and you're like, hold on. I know who you voted for. I know that you don't think women deserve equal rights. I know that you've put down multiple people in the LGBTQIA plus community. We're at a party and you came over to apologize for trying to start a fight with me earlier, and now you're asking to see me play with myself. Uh-huh. Yeah, Jane, there's a lot going on with Jane. Moving on. You better be prepared for Dino Toys with Wash. Listen, of course. Are you kidding? Dino Toys are just are just a form of aftercare. You just make them talk in different voices. It's fine. Works perfectly. Yeah, no. Also for Dino Toys as foreplay is a very tenuous divide. Oh my God, too good. Andy Panda says, "Hi, Nick. Hope you're having a good Thirsty Thursday. 1, when you're doing spicy audio, do you picture someone as the listener?" Do I picture someone as the listener? Huh. I mean, I guess it would be fair to say yes, right? Because there's always a vague picture of a participant in my head. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there has to participant or participants. Like, I know what the assistant in Bear and the Brat looks like. I know what the librarian in Bear and the Brat looks like. I know what Brat looks like. I know what Bear looks like. For me, right? So when I'm playing with those characters, I know exactly what's happening. Yeah, so I think it would be fair to say that I know what my characters look like. I know the mental image that pops into my head when it comes to acting out the scene. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Number 2, is there a special word, honorific phrase that can instantly put you into spicy headspace? Listen, it has happened before. Yeah. Um, with permission, having already been established with a um a common connection with an established rapport. Yeah, I've had somebody bite my earlobe and call me daddy before. And that's kind of been like, I'm sorry, you were expecting things to go casually from here? Like, what exactly? Dr. Pepper, Dunkies, Mjolnir. Those are not listen, those are green words right there. You're not talking about red. Those aren't red. Those aren't red signals. Those are all green signals right there. Lunical's like, huh? Yeah, I gotta turn on those notifications. How you gonna know when I'm sneaking up on you? Depends on the Listen, do not come up to me and say, "I want to play with your Mjolnir daddy." Like, it doesn't because there's the possibility that I'm gonna giggle at that. It's all a matter of establishing beforehand. Now, you know, sometimes things work and sometimes things don't. And sometimes things are like, I'm going to pick you up, throw you over my shoulder, and carry you off now. Given the fact that we have established that is something that we're both comfortable with, and so on and so forth. It's just a matter of getting there. And you guys should know at this point, like, I love the dance. I love the intellectual tete-a-tete as much as I enjoy anything else. So you didn't scroll on that like I thought you would. Andy, do you need me to squirrel? Because I can squirrel. I can squirrel so fucking hard. I can doctor your pepper. Moving on. What? I can donkey your donuts. Oh no. Oh God. Oh nope. Wookie Nookie might be as far as it goes this week. I don't need I can donkey these nuts. Oh no. No. All right, moving on. I win. Shut up. Shh. Yeah, I watched you pick up a lot of people. Oh my God. So, but I didn't throw anybody over my shoulder. Stormy. I didn't foist anybody over my shoulder and was like, I'm carrying you out. Sir, I'm trying to work. I'm sorry about making you laugh so hard that your frappe is coming out of your nose eye. Just we're living in a golden age of comedy, people. All right. I almost dropped some too. Well, listen, y'all out there wearing lycra and shit, and it's like, how do I get a grasp when I'm just sliding off of you? Not my fault. You guys were coated in latex before things went down. not going to be tossing people onto beds just casually, willy-nilly. That's not like a service that I offer in mixed company. Toss people around. Oh, okay, sure. It was slippery. That was slippery denim. Don't you start with me. You coated it in Crisco. I could smell it on my arms after the fact. Moving on. No, you see what happens, Anna, is when a bunch of people get together and go to a truly shitty conference that is way too expensive, that is way too loud, then shit goes down fast. Moving on. Sir gets me in more of a very master dom space, right? Sir master get me into very much a dom space. Note, just fly. Talk about a neon sign we need, Sage. Click that button. Do not attend Books, Gowns, and Crowns, which I still call Balls, Gowns, and Crowns if nobody reminds me of the actual title. Master Daddy is a little bit different, Tara. It's a little bit of a weird. It's a difficulty because it kind of gives God of Mischief, like where I'm going to end up, you know, tying you down, doing everything that I can with every appliance that has made the trip with me, that I am going to get surgical, but I'm also going to get extremely whimsical. So like sensation denial, like edging will be crazy. Like yeah, it mixes a lot of but again, it also depends on who you're dealing with, right? I already told you guys, like, um, somebody called me Nicky Bear, and it just like shut it down. Somebody calls me Bear or Grizz in the right context, and it's like, that is a primal space. That is a primal place. We're going in that direction. Sensation denial. Yes, Andy, sensation denial. Have you ever had a buzz? Have you ever had a buzz held so very close that you can feel it, you know where you want it, you know where it would feel really good to have it, but it just isn't put there. You know what I mean? Like that moment where it's just like so close and yet so far. Yeah. Can have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, it really depends on establishment. Like, listen, right? Hookups are hookups, right? And usually if it's that situation, we haven't established the usage of honorifics. We may have talked about it casually and stuff like that, but it's not like the kind of thing where you're like you're building a whole structure. If somebody's going to use an honorific with me, usually it's somebody who's established that it's going to be like, we have a play pattern in place. We know what we're trying to accomplish. We know what everybody needs. And it's like, we're getting this done. See, you say evil, I say bring it on. Oh, look, it's a brat done brattin'. Shocker. Moving on. Beefly says, Happy Thursday, Sir Bear. Hope this finds you enjoying every moment of this day and looking forward to a memorable night. Today was all about chores, but this is where things get fun. Yes, I am the head brat in charge. Absolutely. Number one, kissing. What do you think of what do you think of makes it powerful or not? What makes yours unique? And what's your most memorable kiss, good or bad? Kissing is a thing that is also like every other intimate interaction, can be transactional, can be sensual, can be deeply meaning, can be spiritual, can be a form of foreplay, can be a form of aftercare, can be can be an act of, listen, talking about sensation denial, nothing says you are on the brink of losing your damn mind like having somebody form that perfect little O with their lips, place it around a very ready clitoris, and stop so that you have to do the moving yourself. And it's like, oh, my hips have started working on their own. But kissing can be the kind of thing where I am a firm believer in makeout sessions. I am. I'm a firm believer in familial kissing on the cheeks. I've done it with many. It's something that happens with the men in my family, where it's you kiss on each cheek, right? Big bear hug, kiss on each cheek, the handshake, the whole thing, and it it can be that can be familial, and it can be comforting, and it can be a connection with other people, and it can be something that's completely chaste and not chaste in that, like, oh, it's just it can be a kiss on the hand, it can be a kiss on the wrist, a kiss on the palm, right? It can be a kiss on the cheek or a kiss on the forehead, right? It can be those little things where there's a layer of innocence to it that it still exists. It can be something as deep as and odd as those. I say odd in a good way. It can be those things that are as deep and as surface level and as odd as, first awkward kisses with somebody when you're trying to figure out how to do it, right? And it can be the makeout session where nothing else will happen. It is just you and the other person or persons, and there is physical proximity, and there is kissing, and there is expression, and there are eyes closed, and there is the sharing of breath, and there are those moments where it's just like, wow, warmth washing over everything, you know? Anna Davis needs ice more like pearls. Both work. Both are good. But diamond tips are also, anyway. So yeah, so kissing is the kind of thing that can can lead to nowhere, can be everything, can be the beginning, can be the end, depending on the passion, depending on the excitement, depending on the intimacy, the location, depending on what the other person is listen, there have been times where heavy kissing has happened, followed by absolutely nothing. There have been times where heavy kissing has led somewhere. There have been times where light kissing has been like, you should come with me now. There have been times where, just eye contact and the briefest of glances of lips have led to a look that has indicated that you should be coming with me. You will be coming with me unless you wave me off right now. So it's a matter of, no, you don't have to shut up and look stuff up. Jeez Louise, Andy. It's okay. It is okay. You do not shut up. You keep asking questions. If a question pops into your head, ask it. Stop. This is not high school. This is not grade school. This is what we're supposed to be doing. I am a gateway towards other information. Okay? You are beautiful and capable, and you are strong, and you are willful, and no one it you have listen, anybody who has the tenacity to ask questions instantly earns my respect, right? Because we were all taught to not look foolish in the face of our peers. We were all taught that, right? This is a place where you could ask those questions. Every single one of you. That's why I've set up Thirsty Thursday and Monday Morning Coffee Talk, is so that you can ask these questions, so that it can lead you on paths that'll end up building more and better, and make you feel as though you have completely understood all of these things you want to understand, right? I'm a gateway drug. It's how it works. This is how it works, guys. Introduction to a much bigger and sweatier world, with a lot more lube. Anyway, so yeah. And when it comes to my most memorable kiss, most memorable kiss. Looking for a name here. Looking for a name here. Let's say Val. Val and I were not supposed to be at the same party. Val and I were not supposed to be in the same social circles. Val and I were not supposed to be near one another because Val, was somebody else's girl. Val and I got to talking. Val was surprised by the fact that I could stop, go off and do something else, that I didn't have to constantly be within their sphere. Val and I were not supposed to happen. But there was something about me going, oh, well, I got to get going. It has been very nice to talk to you. It has been great to see you. I've got to work in the morning. And me going out to my Jeep, getting into my Jeep, starting my Jeep, and hearing the passenger door open. And there is just this rush of a person. And this climbing so close, breathing so deep, connecting in a look in a way that says, this is not the first interaction we've had, but it will definitely change the interactions we have from here on out. I've never had lapels grabbed and pulled before, so that was kind of a thing that set a tone. So yeah, so Val and me at 3 a.m. outside a house party. That was quite memorable. This feels like such a personal question somehow. Answer as shallow or deeply as you wish. With appreciative respect to all the plethora of beautiful body types within the library, but also since there are so many of us here and the negative is so often what we hear the most, I'd like to request a gift on this wintry Thursday. Would you share something you find particularly enjoyable, enticing about those of us beings who are with more than ample curves and thicker, wider roads to travel? Every road is completely and utterly unique, and all of them are delicious and delightful, and different patches of land garner different reactions. And you might find yourself kissing someone at a certain place, and giggles might be elicited. You might be kissing somebody at a certain place, and they grab the back of your head and force you to not move. And every single inch of it, and all of the abundance, and all of the shape of it, and the way that the light catches it, and every single place you say to yourself, God, I want to touch that. God, I want to see what that tastes like. God, I want to see how that moves. When it's being done correctly, hard, and then fast. Oh, the motion of the waves, the way the sea crashes differently depending on how shallow you are, as opposed to how deep you can be, how hard you go, as opposed to how soft, how fast you go, as opposed to how slow. There are a lot of amazing opportunities when it comes to individuals and the sacred the sacred geography of the human body. So wondrous, so delightful, so beautiful. And anybody who tells you that there is one body type is clearly expressing their own needs, concerns, wants, and desires. Because, as has been stated before, I have never discriminated. I linger in the realm of the intellectual and then the physical repercussions of those dalliances, however. Listen, sometimes people get picked up and tossed. Other times people simply get pushed and bent over. Sometimes people are crawled to and worshipped wherever they find themselves in recline. And don't for a second think that something on you does not entice, does not make desirable, does not elicit response, because it does. What's still number 3? Hopefully, was that enough? Do I need to keep going? Do I need to keep going? Physical repercussion, reverberation, the listen, if hips were to collide with an ample posterior in such a way as to cause ripples to move over the surface, d- scars, stretch marks. Pff, who doesn't? Who does not have scars and stretch marks? Can you name a person? Because I have never encountered one person that does not come with both. Exactly. Battle wounds from surviving life. We have different body types. Mine is not what is considered the pinnacle of male beauty. But I am. I'm me. I accept me for who I am. I love this. This is what I am. I do with what I can with this. And guess what? If you're not into it, that's fine, because there are other people who will be. And that's just the way it is. Not necessarily, Stormy. You just have to, it's just a matter of finding those individuals. It's just a matter of finding those individuals. Dadbod has not been, listen, Dadbod has only been a thing. How long has Dadbod been a thing? It hasn't been that long. It has not. And number three from B-Fly is, what still makes you wonder and curiosity? Are you kidding? What still makes me wonder and curiosity? Everything. Everything elicits that, "Ooh, I gotta understand it" response. Everything sets off that part of my brain that goes, the possibility, the unknown, the mystery, the infinite opportunities, the way that this might go, left, right, up, down, quarter, turn, signal. All of these things, all of this existence, all of the possibilities, the people, the places, the food, the architecture, all of the unknowns, all of the beautiful, serene moments, all of the chaotic crashes, all of it. I wonder what tomorrow's going to be like. I wonder what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes. I wonder what somebody's going to tell me, who's going to express attraction, who's going to express revilement. It all exists in this weird space because you know what? I've come to a weird place where I spent so much of my existence in kind of a almost like a sensory deprivation state that now that I have the ability to understand, now that I have the ability to experience, to witness, to hear, to see, to touch, to taste, I'm in for all of it. Because so far as I know, this is my one shot at it. So I might as well be really good and really committed to this part, right? So I'm going to wear the comfy clothes that fit just so, that just flow the way that I want to. I'm going to wear the layers that I want to. I'm going to wear the slippers I want to. I'm going to listen to the music. I'm going to eat the food. I'm going to do all of it. I'm going to keep the company I want to. I'm going to witness the beauty that I want to. I'm going to see the art and experience life in abundance as much as I can. Because, and I cannot express this enough. There was such a time in my life where I was told that all of it, that everything and everyone outside of a very narrow spectrum was not worthy of my time. That I have amends to make. And the first thing that I can do is wonder, be curious. The next thing I can do is be compassionate, be understanding. And the third thing I can do is hear, is witness, is try, is to love, is to hope, is to have faith in each and every one of you, you know? Is to be curious about all of the things that you're dealing with. Stop wearing the showers and the slippers in the shower. Listen, all right? It was a bit, okay? It was a bit. I thought first of all, I thought the camera was going to get more of the slippers than it actually did. Secondly, if I had had more time to plan, I would have been wearing the bear hat and a little bit more of a colorful ensemble. But I had 60 seconds to get that on tape. 3 minutes to get that on tape. So I did it in one take and it was out, because if I had kept doing it, I would how many sets of clothing was I going to leave sopping wet or have to wash immediately when I was done? Are you guys going to be roadies on the tour? That'd be great. It's going to be a little difficult transporting 2 bathtubs everywhere, but maybe it'll be worth it. Contessa Sassy Von Assy closes our conversation for today with, what's your favorite spicy non-physical attribute that you love about yourself? I love my bare feet. I love walking around barefoot and just experiencing. There's something grounding and connecting about that. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people who are like, I'm cutting the bottoms out of all of my sneakers so that I could barefoot everywhere. No. Okay. I know that there's a time and a place, but there is some simple, beautiful part of taking your boots and socks off and just being able to walk through the grass or walk on warm sand or make fists with your toes on the comfy thick rug. You know, I love my feet. I love the fact that every so often reconnecting via my feet touching the ground reminds me that I'm a simple creature, that I am connected to this physical thing, and that all of these bits and bobs around me are temporary. I love my feet. They're not the prettiest feet. Talking about stretch marks and scars. I have done damage to my feet, to my ankles, to my toes. All of my toes are broken on my right foot or were broken on my right foot. So they all are bent a little bit funny. And sometimes if they're positioned incorrectly, they tingle because they're like, oh, guess what? No blood flow, buddy. But yeah, my feet connect me to the world. And that is my favorite non oh wait, that is my favorite shit. I misread that. What's your favorite spicy non-physical attribute? My ability to contemplate using almost everything as a sex toy. There it is. I went on a whole spiritual diatribe. I went on this love thyself kick. I went completely outside the realm, and somehow I and my dingus ass decided to just go, you know what? We're just going to completely misread that comment. We're going to completely figure out weird ways to take this, weird directions to go in. And I, being the dumbass that I am, decided that I could not English correctly at that place and time. This is for the size queens only. So yeah. No, I mean, if I have to really, okay. Favorite spicy non-physical attribute. My brain is the grandest sex organ that I've ever had in my entire life. It has very clearly done some things for you guys as well and will continue to do so. And it's always pure and it's always beautiful to me. And it's always it's that thing where I just look at every single person and I say to myself, you have the potential for such pleasure. You are deserving of that pleasure. I hope you feel it. I hope you experience it. Let me use my words. Let me use my art. Let me use my drive in order to find a way of inspiring that pleasure. I fucking love when I get these little comments or these little DMs where it's like, hey, I'm the husband of so-and-so, a member somewhere. And they're like, hey, and I just wanted to let you know that my hips hurt and it's your fault. That is an actual comment I've gotten. Moving on. How do you use the shield? The shield can be used for spanking. Don't act like it can't. It can be used for spanking. Hey, you know what? Andy, guys, beautiful beasties, he, she's, theys, and gays. I'm a work in progress. I won't stop being a work in progress until the day I die. I'm going to say some dumb shit. I'm going to do some dumb shit. I'm not going to have all the answers. And I am at times going to offend. But I'm doing the best I can with what I got. And I do love, and I do hope, and I do appreciate each and every one of you. And sometimes that does mean me saying the wrong thing or seeming like I'm ignoring people. And I'm okay with that because I'm a work in progress. And that's beautiful. Just like the fact that we're all works in progress is beautiful, right? There's no cookie cutter formation for it. There's no perfect outline for it. We just are. And we do the best with what we got. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I use the D word. What can I tell you? Sometimes I do the D dirty. But we do the best that we can. Yes, I did say that we don't use the D word around here. And you know why? You know what? I did exactly what any other parent would do. Do as I say, not as I. Okay. And so I don't have to listen. Oh, yes, you do. Getting all petulant about it. We're human. Correct. All right. Just don't call you. I don't call you daddy. Just remember that. Not listen. Listen. If you're calling me daddy, it's because I've cleared you to say that firsthand. These two call me dad now. That's just the way that it is. No, I did not. Yes, I did. Because I am. I am your. I am your. Wait, no. What was that stupid convoluted bullshit from Spaceballs? I'm your father's cousin's brother's ex-roommate. Mana! All right, move. Oh, God. Well, it's nice to see that we're having yet another fun time, both with Nick and at his expense. But that's the end of the questions. Threads closed, so I'm gonna hit the bricks. And there goes the T. So now I'm gonna go play with the D for a bit. And by the D, I mean the dumb. But I will talk to you guys later. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Be beautiful, beasties. Be yourselves. Love who you are. Live to the very fullest that you can. And as always, have fun storming the castle. Headbutt for a kiss. Bear hug. I love you. You know I love you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Wait. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh my goodness.